Are you a busy mom in business who's working mostly from home? Tired of seeing lots of other mamas online crushing it and wondering how they juggle kids, school, camps, lunches, dinner, potty training, laundry, cleaning, homework, soccer practice, ballet, doctor visits, toddler tantrums, teen tantrums, neglected husbands, dog walking, volunteer school duty, and all of that other stuff? Are you scratching your head trying to figure out how they manage to get all of it done so they can be successful in their businesses? Well, then you're in the right place. Welcome to the Audacious Mamas Show. You're about to hear behind-the-scenes insights from some of the most successful moms on and offline, as well as professionals who can help all of us make our business and home lives more streamlined and prosperous. You'll get tips, insights, and lots of validation. Yes, ladies, the struggle is real, even for the most successful mamas. Here's your host, and one of the most audacious mamas around, Steph Roberts.
Hey, Audacious Mamas. Steph here. I hope you guys had a great 4th of July. I just wanted to check in and say, do you want to be on a podcast? Have you been thinking about being a guest yourself and promoting your business? Have you already done it, but you want to do more of it? Well, that's what this episode is all about. So as a podcaster, I obviously interact with a lot of people who want to be guests, and I see the many different approaches to people reaching out to me to be on the show. And I have certain people that I reach out to and ask them to be on my show, but it's not that difficult. It's really not that hard to get onto a podcast, depending on the level that the podcast is at. Obviously, if it's super popular and they're having like A-listers on, it might be really hard. But there are so many podcasts out there. I'm sure that you can find a handful of them in your niche and easily just send a quick pitch letter. And why not just put yourself out there? So one of the things that I touch on in this episode, because I've had so many people asking me about podcasting, especially mompreneurs, is just, make sure that when you do this, you know what it is you want to pitch. So if you're in the middle of a pivot, you're changing your services, that kind of thing, it does make sense to create a foundation for yourself, get all of your stuff together so that you have your packages up on your website, you have your freebie ready to go, your email list in place, or, a phone number, a text message, opt-in, whatever it is that you want to send people to. Make sure that you've got all of that in order before you get out there, because there's nothing worse than getting this publicity and then not being able to leverage it. So that might be a no-brainer for some people, but I think it's worth stating. So I'm in the middle of putting myself out there too and getting onto other people's podcasts. I have a couple of episodes that I will be doing and promoting, and I'm excited to be a guest. And, it's time to stop playing small. So if you're scared, maybe you even want to create your own podcast. If that's the case, I'm putting together some services, and I'm really excited to start helping women with doing this thing that really does not have to be super complicated, super expensive, and it's an awesome way to connect with your community. So here is the Facebook Live that I did. It was an engaged Facebook Live, so people were asking me questions. I'm going to leave some of that in here, but I would love for you guys to send me questions directly, steph@stephanieroberts.com, or go to audaciousmamas.com. Or you can even go to the Facebook page. You can like the page. You can leave questions there. The Audacious Mamas Facebook fan page. It's facebook.com/Audacious Mamas Podcast. And there, hopefully you can like the page. You can put any comments there. I would love to connect to you that way, but whatever works for you. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I will be putting together an Audacious Mamas Facebook group. It's been a long time coming. I didn't think I had enough time to devote to it, but that's really the best way to connect with you and hear what you have going on instead of pleading for you to reach out to me, that kind of thing. It's just so nice to have a sense of community and to have other women who are all kind of on the same page, experiencing some of the same things. And then I can more quickly share some of the cool things that I'm learning and obstacles I'm overcoming. And we can all kind of help each other get through this mompreneur experience that we're in with all of its unique challenges. So Yeah, and I also have a partnership that's kind of in the works, and I'm hoping that at some point soon I can announce that as well. But I'm just so grateful to you guys for listening, and just please, if this is helpful to you, share it with your friends, rate, review, do anything you can to kind of keep this thing going, and just know that I appreciate all that you've done as a listener, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode. So here it is. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt for a sec and say, I know I've been talking about video for a while, but I'm super excited because we had Instagram stories, which was really fun. We could tell these short, little, quick 15-second clips that connect us with our audience, our potential clients, other people, and it's a great way to kind of go behind the scenes. And now there's Facebook Messenger Day, which allows you to connect again with people who you're connected to through Messenger, but in a more direct way with people who might be your ideal clients or customers, as long as they're connected to you on Facebook. It's pretty cool, and I'm not recommending that you spam anyone, but what I've noticed is that the people who are doing Facebook Messenger Day videos, well, there's just not a lot of them out there. So you're really ahead of it. If you are interested in this at all, I just put together a package of 5 videos. They're custom made for you with a special price for my listeners. And I'm excited to start delivering these packages. So they're just 15 seconds each, which is what Messenger Day will allow, and also Instagram. You can kind of use them anywhere because it's so tiny. You could also use them for Facebook ads if you wanted. And so it's animation, music, some text, images, graphics, as well as very, very short video if you have something under 15 seconds that could be pulled in. So I'm excited about these. If you're at all interested, all you need to do is send a text to 44222, 44222, and write the word VITAL video. That's VITAL video, VITAL video, all one word. And you will get my 6-step formula for successful promo videos, which will give you a leg up and give you some ideas on how to get started on this. It'll also let me know that you're interested. You'll get a little bit more information from me on how to connect with me more directly, and hopefully we can connect after that. And I would love to give you the special price for my listeners and start working with you and just get these out there. So I just launched one of my longer video clients, and she is doing really well with her new video, and I just am so excited to see the responses in her Facebook group. So this stuff works. It's really exciting. It does great things for you, your image, keeps you out there, and the more creative you can be, the better. And again, with this little package, you can do a rotation of 5 different videos, so you don't have to limit your focus to just one thing. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks. So hi guys, Steph Roberts here. Hopefully if you're tuning in, you know who I am and you're expecting this. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about podcasts because I have 2 podcasts. I have a lot of people asking me questions about, well, a lot about the creation side of podcasting, but also about like what are the things to do to be a guest? Like what are the things that you can do to kind of enhance. Looks like 3 people are watching. All right, if you guys want to comment, I think I will be able to see who you are. Thanks for tuning in. I'm not watching on Facebook because what I found is I'm using Ecamm Live, and when I do that, I get this weird double scenario, so I appreciate you. But if you comment, I believe I will be able to see the comments right here in front of me. So I've been getting a lot of comments about how do I increase my chances of being selected for an interview for someone else's podcast that you're pitching. So what I wanted to say, hi Carla, thanks for tuning in. So my number 1 tip is when you're reaching out to that podcaster, what you're sending them usually is the reason why you think you're a good fit for that podcast. And you should be targeting your podcasts. Like what I'm dealing with mainly are things related to social media, video marketing, and women's empowerment, mother type of issues, self-care. So I would not pitch myself to some podcast where there's, somebody talking about like motorcycles or something like that. So, obviously, this maybe obvious to you, maybe not, but make sure you really target your podcast, who you're reaching out to, do your research, and then state very specifically, first sentence, why you think you're a good fit for their audience. Like, what is it that you're going to deliver to them? Because you're actually introducing them to your audience, which is great. So you can say how many people are in your audience. Talk about your social media following if you want, if it's relevant. Otherwise, just say a little bit about your story and your background, and then that will pull them in right out of the gate. They'll know, okay, this person's a good fit. And you can even use some of the words that they use. Go to iTunes, look up their podcast, and when you see how they describe their podcast, take out some of those phrases. Hey, Joe, good to see you. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Good to have an actual live audience. And I appreciate you sharing your time with me on this lovely Tuesday night. Yeah, so take the words directly from their iTunes. So if it says something about, I don't know, like business tips, entrepreneurial, whatever, or spiritual, it's oriented towards spiritual things or inspiration and self-help, say why your story will be compelling for them. Did you have some big self-help journey where you've made some big epiphanies and made some big changes in your life, and that has brought you to this new place and what you've learned? And so think of it from that perspective. So that's my number one tip, is really state right up front why you're a good fit, because they might just like ignore depending on the size of the podcast, they might ignore your letter if it's too long, or if it goes into stuff that just really is irrelevant. So really the podcaster wants to know why you're a good fit for their audience. And I think if you have a bigger podcast that you're pitching, it's really smarter to start with some smaller ones, and then you can point to some of the other podcasts you've been on, which is really helpful, I think. Thanks for the thumbs ups and the hearts. So then tip number 2 is, I already said this, what can you offer their audience? So what I mean by that is, do you have an offer right now? So if you have a course launching and maybe you have a freebie associated with your course that might be valuable. Hey, Jill, good to see you here. So if your freebie is valuable to this particular audience, definitely talk about that and offer to the podcaster, say, and just put the link right in your letter that says, here's what I would like to, offer your audience while I'm on the podcast. And sometimes they'll move it to their domain. So whatever the name of the podcast is, / your name. So / Joe, / Nicole, whatever. And that way the traffic still goes to them. You're still getting your downloads, that kind of thing. You're still getting people added to your list, but it's just kind of on their domain. So that's number 2, have a freebie. You can also offer a free consultation, a coupon code, a download of an ebook, like whatever you think the thing is that makes sense for who you are. And then the third thing, and this I can't stress enough, especially if the podcast is a little bit bigger, send you all your stuff, like right away in the pitch. Say, here's who I am, here's my bio, attached is my bio and or your resume. Include with that a professional photo of you that you would want them to use it in their promo graphic for the podcast episode. So that's going to show up on your show notes page. So you have your bio or resume, which also make sure you have your title. Like, how do you want this person to introduce you when they start the podcast? Hi, my name is Carla. I'm with the Giggle Fest, but what's your title? Are you CEO of Laughter? I mean, say what your title is, because they're going to introduce you. And if they have all your notes right in front, it makes it that much easier. And a lot of us podcasters do batch recording. And so bing, bang, boom, we just want to get it done. We don't want to spend a lot of time, looking or fumbling around. Oh, they sent it over here through chat, put it all in one place in the email that you're sending to the podcaster. So your professional photo,
your bio, your title, meaning how you want to be introduced, like what are you, and then the offer that I mentioned, and then what else? All of your links, all the links to your social that you would want promoted on a show notes page. And the cool thing about this, you guys, is that if a podcaster includes your links on a show notes page, you're going to get, your link juice. That helps build up your site because you're being linked to from other locations, right? So let's say you're on like 5 podcasts and you have a brand new website. That's actually helping your website pull other people. It's kind of verifying and strengthening the power of your name, your domain, everything. It's all positive for you as an my kids are fighting as an influencer or influencer on the rise, right? So those are the things that I wanted to say that will really, really help. And if you guys have any questions, if you want to be a podcast guest, what are the things that, that you want to know about? I'm happy to answer any questions. And I will do a quick recap. So number 1, say right up front in your email or letter to them why you're a good fit. Specifically use their words from their iTunes description even. Pull out those words and say why you're a good fit. So don't use a form letter. People don't like that. And then what can you offer their audience in the form of like maybe a freebie, a giveaway, a free service offering, coupon code, ebook, PDF, whatever, and send that to them right in the letter. And then your bio with a photo, your title, like that's huge. And then all your social links all in one place. If you have all of that, it's going to be very hard unless you're a terrible fit, it's going to be very difficult for a podcaster to say no to you if they need if they need interviewees. And so if somebody doesn't have a very large podcast, hey, Fancy Sue, good to see you here. Been a long time, lady. I have seen more peacocks and had this peacock theme, by the way, because this was a thing we talked about. We talked about flamingos and peacocks. I've seen more peacocks in the last 48 hours than I've seen. So I was thinking about you this morning. Anyway, so that's my tip. And I would shoot for new podcasts that maybe they're new and noteworthy. Maybe they're not. Maybe just have a friend who has a podcast. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to be a new and noteworthy. It's pretty funny, Fancy Sue. I don't know what's up with I will look up the meaning of the peacocks, but I know it was positive. So anyway, so those are the tips. And I would say, podcasting is just a great way to get your message out. I'm actually going to be a guest on more podcasts. I'm promoting myself more because I had to kind of get my message clear. Yeah, I need to shine. I think if you're not clear, it's hard to do podcasts and do press if you're not if you're still figuring stuff out and you're not clear, kind of the direction you're going, and you feel yourself hanging back. I personally think that's fine. Take your time to figure it out, because why should you promote yourself as one thing if, a month or 2 later, you're suddenly doing something completely different like that? That's kind of silly. So I would aim for the people who are just launching. Ask if you can, ask if they need more guests. Say you'd be happy to be one of their guests. If you're in any of these podcast groups, what they love is for you to listen, give ratings and reviews, and that's how you become their friend. You could take a little picture and you kind of have to take a screenshot of your review on iTunes because it takes a while for it to show up. But you can say, hey, I love your podcast. Just wrote a review. I'd love to be a guest. Put yourself out there. Yes. Gotta put myself out there. It is the beginning of the summer, Fancy Sue. So the whole school schedule, everything is kind of out of whack. But I'm just trying to hurl myself back into the game. So go for those people, you guys. And even if it's a bigger podcast and you really like the people, find them on Twitter, find their Facebook fan page, find them even on LinkedIn. Feel free to compliment them publicly too. You can send a private message, but you can just say, hey, this is a great episode of, the Audacious Mama Show. That's my show. You could just say the name of the show, retweet it. And the cool thing about these podcasts is that a lot of us, we just have a rotation of all the episodes going out again and again and again, especially on Twitter. Well, really only on Twitter. But this stuff stays out there. And with mine, I'm moving some of mine to other platforms like YouTube. So you're having people download the original podcast from iTunes, Stitcher, wherever. But some people might actually find it a totally different way through YouTube and a Google search. So, yeah. So I can't say enough about it. I think it's and they can also find it through the text that describes what you're doing. So podcasting is a great way to kind of spread your wings and fly. Do peacocks actually fly, Fancy Sue? I don't think they do, but they try. They try. So, yeah. Big thumbs up for podcasting if you haven't been on one yet. And I think, what do we have on here? Carla, if you're still on here. So Carla is actually going to be launching her podcast very soon. Very exciting. So maybe if you're on this with her, you could get onto her podcast. If you're a woman, I think it's mostly women who she's interviewing. I could be wrong. But that's one way to get on. So those are my tips. Do you guys have any questions at all before I hop off so I can make sure my kids are safe and not hurting each other? I don't hear any crying at the moment, but would love to hear your thoughts. If you guys have any questions. Let's see. Jill, confidence is a great asset for podcasts. Indeed, yes. I think most people, I haven't really encountered people who've been, I had one guest who was kind of a flop kind of a guest. Yeah, when you're interviewed and actually on, you need to bring your energy with you. No question. Okay. Thanks, Jill. Yeah, that's a really good point, Jill. Thank you. Yeah, when you're on the podcast, you got to emote. You have to, just bring your best energy with you. And if you're having a low energy day, I can't tell you how many times before I started interviewing, before we actually started recording, we kind of make a joke about it. And it's really nice to have that, kind of witty repartee and the conversation and just joke around before you actually start recording. And then everybody loosens up and you get a little more energy. And that's what I like about the audio only podcast instead of, kind of going live like this. But either way, there's that time to connect with the interviewer. It might not be very quick. I've been interviewed on satellite where we literally had 5 minutes. And then there were very specific interview breaks in between. So you have to be able to kind of roll with it and stop what you're saying and then kind of pick it up again after the commercial break. So most podcasts, though, are not recorded, by satellite or live like that. It's just you kind of roll with it. And if you need to edit later, you can, which is nice. Most of us don't edit out too much. It's maybe a cough or if there was a huge break in the recording. Like I've been recording with Skype, and sometimes Skype does crazy things. So you have like a giant gap. Might remove that. But for the most part, be prepared for it to just be whatever you're saying is what gets recorded, and that's what goes out there. So practice a little bit about saying who you are, your little mini elevator pitch. And one of the cool things that's also helpful, I did not put this, I'll put this as number 4. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. But I can see how it's very helpful is some people say, here are some talking points. Here are some, kind of an angle that you might want to ask questions of me from this perspective. I kind of like to take my own spin on who the person is. I usually research them, and I usually sort of, think about what my audience might want from them. But a couple of times I've been really grateful that they had that, and I definitely used it as a way to guide the conversation in case there was maybe a little lull. But so that's another thing. You can have some talking points that also could help whomever you're pitching. You don't want to send a giant long pitch though. So I already gave you some things to stick by. If you want to stick in a sentence or two or a bullet point at the beginning that says, here's some talking points, but just be wary because some podcasters are a little bit maybe control freaks and they might just want to make that decision on their own. So that's something that you should just be sensitive to, I guess. What else? I just thought of something else that was related to that and it just flew out of my head. Yeah. I can't think of anything else at the moment. If I remember, I will add it here, but I just want to say thanks, you guys, for coming. Looks like I have one person left. Whoever you are, thank you for hanging out. And if this was helpful to you, please do share it. I'm Steph Roberts. I'm a social media strategist, digital strategist. I help people with their social media, help them with visibility, help them with content strategy, figuring out what to do to kind of get their most bang for their buck, do some podcasting, video marketing, and just kind of overall content strategy. So if you're interested in reaching out to me and chatting or being a guest on one of my podcasts, one is for mompreneurs, the other one is for people kind of getting unstuck from unhealthy relationships. So feel free to reach out to me. I would love to chat with you. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. All right, take care, guys. Feel free to share this.
Like what you heard? Well, we're just getting started. Subscribe to the podcast, then rate, review, and share. Steph will read reviews on the podcast, and she'll choose a lucky winner each month. The prize? An Amazon gift card to say thanks for listening and sharing. So head to iTunes to leave a review before you forget. Need some help with social strategy or video marketing? Reach out to Steph at StephanieRoberts.com. That's Stephanie with an I, no E. Or call 617-657-4441. Join Steph on Twitter at Steph Gets Social.